GCDs, Mema Obibia Aquaba, Hadia, latest and hot music one, and I'm a Ramo, and so we have subscribe here. For more than say, we subscribe to the channel. The other answer, we click the subscribe button. Now, what barely notification, we answer new video, be uploaded. When the first person I was submitting video, I feel we are now like video, give us a thumbs up, nothing. Share my offer for so now when you be here now and some airport so air will gonna name him. Afriyie share and some other door you also. KKD kwesi dakwa what in some Ghana wa bro and some people so across some nata ya penifui what they and catch the Ghana for Bibiana wada and some be na tente magami pesi kuti KKD in some what the air to meeting in some air coffin.
We cannot have a country where we accept that the leadership is full of liars. That's a problem.
Is that what you see now?
You have said if it goes to parliament, they won't approve. After I said
the likelihood
yes,
of approval.
but you have said so. So don't ask me the question. You have answered the question.
No, but the leadership is not just parliament. I'm asking
No. Everywhere.
Look at the swings of our leadership.
Do you expect the judiciary to have liars amongst them? Our big problem in Ghana is corruption. Look, at the time when we said we don't have money for the renal unit of Kolebu, somebody was signing, ordering for an emergency check to be paid to the president's daughter or the person with whom the president's daughter exchanges bodily fluids to go and service ambulances, let's stay with a lie.
No, hold there. It wasn't for the president's daughter, and we don't know whether she exchanges. It wasn't for the president's
How do you have a child with somebody without exchange of bodily fluids?
We don't know whether
are you an MPP communicator now?
Currently.
There is so much hunger that people are selling their birthrights for porridge like Esau and Jacob. There is so much desperation that young people who have the opportunity to educate themselves to gain skills and competencies will rather travel anywhere else and work as the lowliest laborers. There is so much pent-up anger, but so little courage for the wise amongst us to speak up. And there is so much arrogance in those we have elevated into positions of fleeting authority to serve us, that they thumb their noses at the public and don't give a hoot no matter what the people say. Every time taxes are introduced by any government, they introduce them for the betterment of the country. But if you're paying more taxes and you're receiving worse services, you must ask yourself, why am I paying these? Whether you're going to the hospital, whether you're going to buy an air ticket, whether you're going to buy yam in the market, why have we put so many taxes on goods and services in this country, but we haven't improved service, especially from the public sector to the populace? It is very worrisome. Very, very worrisome. And then you talked about duplicity, so beautiful. There's a book I read a while ago, Diplomacy and Duplicity, and the lies that the people that we ask to represent us at home and abroad tell, not just for the purpose of guarding state, but for the purpose of enriching themselves. Really, really sad. And we have to think that we are citizens of a nation and we have given these people employment, because the politician comes to seek employment just like the mortician or the electrician. But once you employ him, you must constantly look at what he is doing so that you hired him, you can also fire him. Individually, you may not be able to fire him, but collectively you can. And really, I want to call every Ghanaian to action. An educated, keenly interested, and well-informed citizenry abreast of community and national issues is crucial in holding leaders and politicians accountable for their words and actions. And I say leaders, and then I say politicians, because not all leaders are politicians, as you know, and not all politicians are leaders. It saddens me that you and I have to tell the young that our politicians lie a lot, some by commission and some by omission. What do we want to do about it?
What's the latest lie you've heard from the corridors of the powerful? and the political? What's the latest one you've heard?
Too many, but at this point, taking any single one and stating it means giving their opponent an advantage because it's political season. So I will ask the viewers, publish the lies that you have heard from politicians. Put them on Joy News. Put them beneath this program as commentary. And let's start looking at it and saying, if people tell these lies for political advantage so they can get into power, should we maintain them if they don't also prosecute? Now, let me give you one of the oldest lies, rather. A dear friend of mine's father died, and before he died, he said he had a confession to make, and he needed to say this because it's burning his heart. This man was a great artist and cartoonist named Ganata. And he said he had been threatened on the point of actual bodily harm. In fact, gross bodily harm, to make a cartoon presenting Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah as somebody worshipping some gods called Kankai Nyame. To start with, it's either the nation is all so stupid or so gullible that we can believe that somebody who worships their god will call their own god a stinking god. So he made this cartoon. And that is how many Ghanaians started saying Kwame Nkrumah had a god called Kankai Nyame and was sacrificing people to him. But Ganata made this confession before he died, that he was threatened on point of gross bodily harm to make that cartoon. His son is alive. I spoke to his son just 2 weeks ago. And I said, do you know about this? He says, well, he knows about this from family, that his dad was threatened. So in the same way, there are people being threatened in public offices to do evil against the nation just so the people who have appointed them can benefit. But the lies are many. Let's look at this government, President Akufo Addo. People lied about him. Some said he didn't even go to law school. Well, if you don't go to law school and you serve an apprenticeship, you can still practice law.
Back then when that was still possible.
Back then when that was still possible.
That is no longer the case.
Yes.
But back then when it was happening.
So when people say that, you see, the lie is subtle. They make it look like he has received no training at all and has practiced. So that, whoever said it, lied. In the same way, people said, former President Mahama had hotels in Dubai. 7 years on, where are the people who said those things? They lied. And they used it to gain some advantage. They are still enjoying those advantages. But who is calling them to be responsible for the lies they told? So the Ghanaian populace cannot just sit back whilst people come and lie to gain power. And after they gain power, they go silent. We need to get to a point where, like the Welsh government has decided to do now, they are working on an act that will make it such that any politician who lies, public servant in high office who lies, is banned from public service for life. In Ghana, being banned from public service for life is not enough, because if they have stolen enough through their unethical deals, through their nepotism and cronyism, if you ban them, they still go home and live well. We must look at the possibility of enacting something on our law books so that those who lie in high office, those who lie in positions of public authority, actually go to jail.
Would that not be stretching it? I don't know where, yes, you talk about this Welsh bit, I'm yet to read about it, but people could inadvertently lie. There could be people who would say something on some front and not necessarily mean to deceive people.
Now,
I mean, and even you would hear about the oddity of black lies and white lies and all of that. But wouldn't it be stretching it if
it is not
you were to say, oh, you have lied in public office and so you deserve jail? People lie everywhere, every day.
The difference between the carpenter making one chair who lies is that he leaves nails to stick in the bums of everybody who sits on the chair. But the politician who lies takes away from an entire nation. Look, there are different professions. Like I said, there's the electrician, there's the mortician, there's the politician. there's the architect, there's the doctor, there's the nurse. People must choose the professions for which they have skills and competencies and also have the humanity to practice. Some people are intelligent, brilliant. They choose to play football. They don't choose to be an auditor. Because if you choose to be an auditor, you need to work in a situation where wherever you go, you ensure the control environment is as clean as the politics of Singapore. And if you can't do it, go into another profession. People are importers. People are drug dealers. People are TV producers. Choose the profession where you can practice. Don't go into the profession where you're going to harm people. Why is it that if a doctor does something egregious, the medical council can stop him from practicing as a doctor? But a politician does something egregious, he can continue. And even if he has stolen in a previous government, when the government he serves or the party he serves comes back, he gets yet another position again. There are some over 31 million people in Ghana. If one of you is a liar, which eventually leads to thievery, because all deceit leads to greater and worse things, and you know that this person has lied, just because they have come to say, I'm sorry, it's not enough. Accept their apology, but don't let them lead any public office again. Unless they are leading the desilting of gutters and taking out the dirt from, waterways, under the keen supervision of a no-nonsense brigadier.
Now, if you look at our law books, there's no such thing as suffering a jail term for lying. In fact, for every crime, there must be a commensurate punishment. And it must be stipulated in the law what exactly the crime is. There's nothing like that.
This is what I'm advocating for.
I agree. But I am saying, legislating on something like this, that if you are in political office and you lie, and some may say this is quite a stretch. If you look at a society like Japan, there are certain things, and I may add South Korea, unfortunately, some people have taken their own lives on the back of certain happenings. The reason being shame.
It's the culture.
Shame.
It's the culture.
Stigma.
It's the culture.
You can call it the culture. Is that not what we ought to tackle? Such that we create a society where if you do X, Y, Z, you have named and shamed yourself. It's not about going to jail or facing any punishment or something of the sort. Shouldn't we? Is that not what our focus should be? Rather than say we're going to legislate so that if you are found to have told a lie, how will we even determine that? It's a very gray area.
It will always be the wise proposing something for providence, and the nation discussing it and saying, if we want our politics to be clean, if we want our leadership to be up and doing, we must expect better character from them than the people they serve, because the people will take a cue from them. Can you imagine if the leaders in every office in Ghana were neat and tidy and ensured that no dirt was thrown around? How easy it would be for them to ensure that those who throw dirt around would be punished? But if they themselves are filthy and squalid, how are they going to be in a place where they can call other people to order? Let's think about this. We cannot expect our leadership to be worse than the public. And for the purpose of this discussion, I know some people...
Leadership must set the example.
I know some people, the fish rots from the head. I know some people who accept that they are no good, who will start by saying, oh, but the leaders come from the people, so the leaders will be as bad as the people. Not true. The leaders come from the people, but the leaders must be the best elements of the people in skills and competencies, as well as in truth-telling and character. It's important because our difficulty in Ghana, the biggest difficulty in Ghana today is corruption. And all corruption starts with a lie, followed by nepotism, cronyism, before that, greed. But if we cannot tackle the lies and greed in our politics, nothing is going to change. People lie for personal benefit. There's so many reasons why people lie. People lie to cover themselves. People sometimes leave important stuff out. They won't tell you the full story. That itself too is a lie. So how long do we want to suffer this in Ghana? In your family, you're raising your children not to lie, to be true to themselves and to speak the truth about who they are and what they do. End of story. If you're raising your children as such, aren't you raising great leaders for the future? Because they are true to who they are and they are true and capable of speaking truth about what they do. But we have people lying and benefiting from the lies. And we are sitting there, still twiddling our thumbs, still tickling our armpits and laughing, and waiting for who to come and fix it. Now, I say, if this were to go to Parliament, anybody in Parliament that knows he's a liar will not vote for it. That's the fact. If you know you're a liar and you know that you have benefited from lies, there is no way you're going to vote for something like this.
In other words, you're admitting that this proposal of yours will never see the light of day.
Are you saying that most of the people in Parliament are liars? Because that's implicitly what you've just stated.
Well, I am saying that we know very well how politics is played in our part of the world.
No, I don't
say that.
I don't believe that all the people in Parliament are liars.
To say that those members of Parliament will pass such a legislation which likely would indict them is not going to happen.
If you know you are here to do good for the people of Ghana, you will enact laws that will help the people of Ghana.
This will
it will stop you. It will stop you, the leaders, from being lying individuals, from being thieves, and all the thievery starts with lies.
Let me tell you, have you thought through the legal arrangements that would be required to get something like this, through? I mean,
the whole world,
what do you think? I don't know what example.
The whole world will
have.
come to this someday, because you see, you are standing in a place where you think the status quo is okay. Are you happy with the status quo?
I'm not saying the status quo is okay.
No, but you are accepting.
But I'm saying there are other ways of going about the status quo. Look at, I've mentioned Japan and South Korea. Look at a society like Norway.
We can always look at other societies for inspiration.
Look at how they've managed
We must
themselves.
look at ourselves.
You don't need a law like this, do you?
You do.
Really?
You do. Every nation is governed by laws.
So tell me, how
do you
mean? I mean, if
you cannot marry somebody who is under 18,
if you want this
that's
to
our
go
law.
forward, so let me ask you, what shape, what form do you think a law like this will take upon your reflection? How do you think a law like this will get legs to stand on its feet? What would be your thinking?
Essentially, what are laws for? Laws are there to safeguard the humans in whatever protectorate that those laws are made for. And also to let people understand that if you fall short of this law, you fall foul of this law, this is the punishment you get. So laws help people stay away from doing whatever the society considers egregious. So we look at our society. What is the worst problem in Ghana other than corruption? And all corruption starts with a lie. And we are sitting down, just dancing around the issues every day. Political season. Watch the number of lies that are going to be told about each other. So when was the last political season? It was Nanado and Mahama. Where are all the people who are showing us the records and the pictures and the documents, as Okudzeto Ablakwa is doing, of the hotels that Mahama bought? But they have reaped the benefit of those lies, and we are still watching them. Are they fit to lead? You are a liar.
They've gone through elections and people have voted for them.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Voted based on lies. That's what I'm talking about. So for the next election, let us let every politician know, if you tell a lie, you will be banned from all public service. Right? Now, some will say, oh, if I tell a lie that I got home at 8 when I actually got home at 7. I mean, anybody who makes that argument is just plain stupid. Egregious lies where you are using it to put another down for benefit for yourself or benefit for your cabal.
Yeah, but someone will say where you draw the line, and
where we draw the line,
where we see between opacity and
where we draw the line
else.
will be in
what you may see so clearly, someone may say, and that's
why we have a parliament.
KKD, wait, that's the bit, because when it comes to the law, that is why you can't test, for example, spiritual matters. Oh, someone is a witch.
This is not spiritual matters.
Relax. That's why I'm telling you that for the sake of...
You are extrapolating too far from the point.
Ambiguity, the least ambiguity in law will not stand. You know that.
We have to test this in Parliament. We need to stop the lies. Bryce Simmons speaks. I don't hear him lie. I see leadership in that young man from Presec gone. There are people in Parliament who speak, who choose not to tell lies.
Can you name any of them? Have you seen any of our politicians that...
I'm not here to promote...
No, but as we speak about the other side, we might as well speak about those who are doing the right thing.
Can you go on and
setting an example?
And read what comments people have put there? Because I'm not here to give anybody any political advantage. My point is, CPP, NPP, NDC, GCPP, can we all come together and accept that to be a leader, you should not trade in lies? And if you trade in lies, we're not just going to forgive and forget. We will stop you from holding any public office henceforth. That will let people be conscientious and will let people be more humane and let people be more truthful. We cannot have a country where we accept that the leadership is full of liars. That's a problem.
Is that what you see now?
You have said if it goes to Parliament, they won't approve. After I said
the likelihood
yes,
of approval.
But you have said so. So don't ask me the question. You have answered the question.
No, but the leadership is not just Parliament. I'm asking
No. Everywhere.
Look at the swathes of our leadership.
Do you expect the judiciary to have liars amongst them? Do you have the presidency to be staffed by liars? In fact, the fourth estate as well. Because sometimes people with a little more money than those who are working in the fourth estate use them as their tools to lie about people seeking to lead the nation. So media people also tell some political lies. So let's start somewhere. The fish rots from the head. Let's start from the very top and gradually come down.
Where the very top is what?
The very top is the presidency.
Okay.
From there, we're going to judiciary and legislature. Why should you be there, protected by the public purse, giving you all the perks you need, and at certain levels of being a judge, you go home on pension with your highest ever salary and still lie? Why are you lying? Why do people lie? Now, if we want to go to why people lie, then it becomes even clearer why we must ensure that people do not get into a position where if we know they are liars, we let them stay there. Why? Our big problem in Ghana is corruption. Look, at the time when we said we don't have money for the renal unit of Kolebu, somebody was signing, ordering for an emergency check to be paid to the president's daughter or the person with whom the president's daughter exchanges bodily fluids to go and service ambulances, let's stay with the lie.
Hold there. It wasn't for the president's daughter, and we don't know whether she exchanges. It wasn't for the president's daughter.
How do you have a child with somebody without exchange your bodily fluids?
We don't know whether currently...
Are you an MPP communicator now?
Whether currently exchanges bodily fluids.
But listen to me.
That is out of this context.
But listen to me. So at the time when you don't have money for the renal unit, what lie caused government to say people may die, but this payment is so important that we must make this payment?
That we can look at.
What lie caused that? Because all these things, everything we do is based on narratives. And if the narrative is a narrative of untruth, then we are not headed for peace and prosperity. Right. The lies in Ghana must not be about the lies of the foot soldier. It must be the lies of those in leadership. For if those in leadership can be truthful, they can check their foot soldiers.
All right.
No, it for waiting and some KKD kwesi dakwa editu da wo bro and some be so Maka was a decision so and our hair. So when you subscribe, we are Bomodia say we subscribe to the channel. Sunset Hadia latest and hot news in Kwana Mede and Bram. Afriyie na wa like video no give us a thumbs up and share my offer for sooner we may be and share. Also betting a chair what Gyamfi and someone will comment box me. In my next video.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.